My name is Boji. I'm the assistant dean for Cheung Graduate School of Business in China.
And what are you doing here?
Well, I'm here to speak for unicorn or dragon, how to tap into Chinese market for growth. And I really believe that now is the time for global startups and scale-ups to go to China. Before they go to America, go to Silicon Valley, because of three things. One is they have one large market. Second, they have very good access to the capital. And third, the talents. But now we start to see China became very interesting because China got lots of talents. China got one big market. And most importantly, China still have a lot of space for the international startups and scale-ups. And this is a new blue ocean. And America is not a blue ocean anymore. It's red ocean. Everybody go there. So China is a blue ocean. So I created a program called China Star Program to really bring the startups from all over the world, particularly Europe, to China through this program to help them to conquer the fear. You know, people sometimes fear about China, not because China is fearful. For them, it's really they fear about China. And also they have no knowledge about China, so we help them to acquire the China knowledge, how to enter the market, understand the consumer and social media marketing, etc. And also meeting with top executives to really understand, how to do business in China and network with them, build a relationship, which is very important in China. And finally, to help them to have access to the capital, to the investor. We bring like 500 leading investors so that they can interact with each other. So that's a fantastic program. That's why we are here also, to really make sure that the European startups scale up benefit from this enormous opportunity that China offered to them.
China is the future.
Well, I think every country have great future, and globally speaking, I can only use a few data to share with you for that. So about 50% of the global economic growth comes from China. So if the growth is in China, you got to have something to do with China. By 2024, China will, for the second time, become the largest economy in the world. I mean, if it's the largest economy in the world, you want to work with them. You don't want to miss the opportunity. But I personally predict in my lifetime, China will be twice as big as America in terms of its GDP. So if China is so big, if you don't have a plan, you don't have a strategy with China, then you have a problem. You're out. So that's what in that sense, I would say China is a future, but not just a future for Chinese, but a future for Europeans. But if the future is only yours if you're part of it. If you refuse to participate in this lucrative market, then the future has nothing to do with you. You're going to only be jealous about it, right? Yeah.
I would like to know, what do you think people have learned from your conference?
Well, from my speech, usually people would understand more about China a little bit more. I talk about 12 industries, that has great opportunity for, startup scale-ups. Now we're in this conference about the digital. Now China is very much digitalized. We have lots of internet companies, we have retail companies, they're digitalizing their business, and almost every business have a digital plan or already executed their digital plan. So I talked a lot about new retailing. The future retail will be different from today. It's no longer going to be just the separation between e-commerce and traditional retailing. It's going to be a combination of these two. Because at the end, it's about consumer, not about your e-commerce or your retail business. It's going to be how you can better serve the consumer. So from a consumer point of view, I don't care where I buy the product from, whether it's from online, e-commerce, or from a physical store. For me, that's not important. What is important is whether I get convenience, the value, pricing, and also access to the good quality of product. And all those became important. So in the future, the e-commerce and offline traditional retail store need to be combined and to provide a total, comprehensive, integrated solution to the consumer. And also I talk about blockchain has been widely used in the retail industry. Alibaba is doing something about that as well. And so that is very important that we follow that trend, even though blockchain is still early in its stage, but we got to really start. The Chinese are using it for the traceability, for fighting against counterfeit products. That's very interesting. I also talk about fintech. China is using fintech to its limit, and we started to live a life without cash. So 87% of the Chinese are fine with a life without cash. So people are using the mobile, payment to, make payment all the time. So fintech is very interesting in China. Social media marketing in China is amazing. The Chinese use a lot of social media marketing. There's in the Western, there's a separation between social media versus e-commerce, but in China, these two are absolutely perfectly combined. Chinese consumer actually rely on social media for the e-commerce purposes. So we use WeChat marketing, and we also use KOL. And so the digital world in China is fascinating, is growing, is evolving, and I must say it's also leading worldwide in that.
Could you give me, could you give me just a headline, like a sentence, the main sentence we need to know about your conference?
Unicorn or dragon, it's important to be a dragon in China. And you have more chance to become a dragon in China than be a unicorn in the West.
Perfect. So talking a little bit about the digital world and where we're going, I feel like we are missing this human contact. And I don't know if we are going to take it back and go into a future with human contact and digital world, or we are going to miss this human contact forever.
Well, that's indeed true. I mean, we started to see some of the worldwide phenomena. I mean, for instance, when I grew up as a kid, I used to play with other kids in some same subdivision and be their friends and develop a relationship. And now kids are in the home and playing video games and online and shopping and stuff like that. So indeed, we see some of the problem. But I'm very hopeful. The digitalization is really improved the efficiency. So I hope in the future the people will realize the offline world should be very much valued, and it's equally important. So I think when people have more time because of the digital world have saved them a lot of time, improved the productivity and efficiency, and then they can afford more offline social activities, and this will be much valued. And that's my hope. I think people go through the cycle. They got excited with digital, and then after a while they will start to say that, hey, some part of it I really like, some other part of it I don't like, and I'm still going to value the offline as well. I think this evolution is going to come, and in the future, Steve Jobs said one thing. I cannot quote 100% accurately about what he said, but basically he said that even though with the internet, you can do lots of things, but you can still not replace face-to-face, one-on-one meetings offline. So I think we're a human being. We will never be able to replace everything because we need to interact with the people, not just the robots, but interact with the people. We want to eat with them, dine with them, play with them, have vacation with them, and all kinds of things. So that cannot be replaced.
So you mentioned the robots. How do you see the future about this?
I'm very, very anxious, and I'm very, very worried about the development, as a matter of fact. The reason being that this technology, on one hand, is really good. It really improved the productivity and solve a lot of problems for us. There are two things I worry about. The first is from the social equality point of view. This will likely enlarge the gap between our social, class. And if the government, the politicians, doesn't have a good plan to eliminate the gap, then we have a serious problem. We will have a large unemployment. There will be many people who are super rich, but many people are super poor. So there will be social issues related to that. But this can be solved. We're human beings. But the problem is with a very market-driven capitalistic approach. Sometimes, particularly in the West, people are overly emphasizing on the individuality and you as an individual, what you should get. So that sometimes, carried away and then causing this problem became a lasting problem. And second, what I worry about is the safety. Because, if you let the digital world conquer everything, the robots control you and everything. And that, in the future, if robot, let me give you an example. There's actually a professor from UC Berkeley. He released a video and have the robot killer, like a little small killer like this. It's drone. The drone will fly over near the human being, detect the face, and then shoot with a very little, weapon to your brain, and then you're dead instantly. So it says that in a few hours you will kill a city of few million people. So that's crazy to imagine. If someone can control the robots and do that, and robots can even have strike in the future. I'm not happy, so I'm gonna strike. They would even kill me, human being. Let's designate silence. Shh, don't tell anyone. On June 3rd, we're gonna kill your boss. Okay, kill the people around you, because who are those human beings? They make us work, they don't work, so we're gonna kill them. So what if this kind of thing happens? So there are significant problems related to that. Of course, you can say technology can deal with that, but still, they're, let's, for instance, terrorists can use the AI as a way to attack human beings. Before they have to physically put the explosive in their body and then blow themselves. But in the future, they put it on the robots, and the robots to blow human being off. So that would be a big problem. So I really worry about that.
So you think the future looks bright, or?
Well, the future for the AI, I think in some areas is very bright. For instance, self-driving cars, it's very bright. And many other industrial use is very bright. But in some areas, servicing, I think there are some social issues related to that.
Okay, and last question, why this Madrid?
Why I come to Madrid? Well, this is such an easy answer. Now, first of all, the sun brings me here. It's a beautiful, beautiful country with lots of sun. And the sun is not just reflected, in the air, but also I see on people's skin. I see people have a radiant smile. I love the city. People are very charming here, very warm, very receptive. I made so many friends this trip. I never expected this would happen. And they are really wonderful people. I met so many CEOs, chairmen, and also ordinary people as well. I talked to taxi drivers. I make jokes with them, and though not many speak English, but they can guess where I'm going. So I love the country, I love the city, and it's a vibrant city, and you have a great attitude. So I think the rest part of the world should learn from you as well.
Will you come back to this Congress?
Well, definitely. I'll come back not just to this conference, but other conferences as well. I already got the invitation by other conferences as well, and also come back to deliver my seminars here to the top CEO chairmen in September. And we'll come back, obviously, to watch the football as well.